recording, so that is fun. And I am going to share my screen. Sorry, my house is a mess. Don't even worry about it. Just we're having fun, so it's not a big deal. Okay, now hopefully you are seeing my slides. Yes, I hope. Georgie, will you nod your head if you're seeing my big slides? Yes, okay, you are seeing my big slides. And I have pinned myself, so this should be working. Really, this is going to be a super fast introduction, just so that way I will have something to to use for replay. Since we're a smaller group, but it's a fun group, and I like that. So, hello everyone. I'm Elizabeth Milovidov, and I just wanted to introduce myself, so that way I've been sitting here talking for a few minutes, and I didn't even say who I was. So, I am a lawyer from California, and I am here in Paris, France, and I have been here now for 26 years, doing lots of different things, but right now I am a consultant at the Council of Europe and also with e-Enfants, which is the French Child Online Protection Association. And I'm just checking to see see chats and people coming in. I also do work for Microsoft, doing some digital safety work for them, which is a lot of fun. But you have probably seen me because of my website, which is digitalparentingcoach.com, where I just am always trying to get out there and talk to parents and talk to caregivers and let them know that really we can do this. It's just that simple. It's really about keeping communication up there, and just as we've had a bit of a conversation before I really got started, is just asking the questions, well, what can I do? If my daughter wants Snapchat or Instagram, and how can I keep them safe? And even if you're not talking with me, if you're talking in my Facebook community, or if you're talking with other parents, just to keep those conversations going. So at the Council of Europe, I've had the pleasure of working on a lot of different projects for them, and that continues to this day with digital citizenship or artificial intelligence. And this is a project that I did for them in 2017. And the topic was kind of horrible. It was about the online sexual exploitation of children. And I know that's not what we want to talk about, but it really does come under the umbrella of the online protection of children. So if you want to see any of those very short videos, I think they're like 5-minute tutorials. There are also free brochures that you can just guide, brochures, 20-page little booklets that you can flip through that talk about grooming or sex chatting, etc. You can just go to the Council of Europe website, and the easiest way is just to do a Google search and put COE and then my name, and all of that stuff will come up. There are also parenting and positive parenting in a digital age, because a lot of people are talking about positive parenting now, and they've been talking about it for years, so we're really just trying to apply it to the digital world. And so I did something for the Council of Europe on that, and you will find that as well. And really, it's just a lot of fun. So as I mentioned before, that I work for e-Enfants, which I am their European advisor. And so I help them looking for partnerships and ways of keeping the children and families here in France safe online, of course, but working with like Roblox or TikTok or technology companies. And that's why I'm telling you, yes, I know for a fact that we do have, that parents have access to these guides, because I either helped write them or reviewed them or did something, but they are there. The other thing that's really interesting, I don't know where everybody is located, but the other thing that's really interesting about e-Enfants is that it's part of this whole European network, and this network has helplines and hotlines and awareness centers. So I know, Sarah, that you are in Scotland. I am sitting here just racking my brain trying to remember if there is a Scottish internet center. I'm sitting here thinking there has to be. I know there's one in Ireland. I know the Irish Center, and I know of course, in London. But I'm going to double check for you, because I would be really surprised if there wasn't. Because what you can do is that these are helplines where you can just, call, you can get assistance, your children can call in, and then there are also hotlines, and the hotlines are when you're going to call because you have some emergency, you really need that, where you need some serious help. Yeah, so you've never heard. So let me tell you, I'm just going to put in the chat really quickly. So Childline is one, it's in the UK. ChildNet is also in the UK. And then of course, you'll see all of this on the UK Safer Internet Center. also in the UK. And then, if I'm not mistaken, in Ireland, it is called Webwise, and I'm putting that in the chat. Just off the top of my head, I can't remember for Scotland. But if you take a look, you'll find a really good bunch of resources there. And again, this is what kills me, is there's so much out there, parents. There's so many free resources and free guides that you can just kind of go through and pull together and decide. I mean, think back to when, you know, you had your first child and you were trying to decide if you were going to, you know, start them on their first solid food, if it was going to be carrots or tomatoes or what have you. You know, you probably, like me, were looking at a book, or you asked your mother or your sister or somebody. I mean, it's the same right now with digital parenting. There is so much out there. All you have to do is ask. So yeah, you're quite welcome, Sarah. So the other thing is that I do is I speak on France 24, the French news channel. And so I go on and talk about different things, whether it's TikTok or screen time or Cambridge Analytica scandal, whatever. If it involves technology, internet, social media, online games, and usually our families, I want to talk about it because I want to create as much awareness as I possibly can without freaking people out. So this is because no one else will ever see this unless I show this slide like in every presentation that I ever do, because it was a call that I did. If you can see on the bottom, it says at 5:46 UK time. So it was, it was horrible. Nobody saw this. I think it was just me and the journalists who were awake that morning. But anyway, it was really cool to talk to the BBC about child influencers and some of the things about, you know, keeping children safe who want to have YouTube channels and, you know, all the different things that are happening there. And see, you can even see it's the same background, right? Same. And so then there's the Family Online Safety Institute, which is in the United States. And there, I also do things for them, talking, helping, sharing, and it's always the same. Like I said, there's nothing new here. My mother used to always say it's a sad dog that doesn't wag its own tail. So by showing you all these slides, I'm just wagging my tail. I'm so glad we're recording this. And so then here's just some fun stuff with Google here in Europe. And next to me is Marco Pancini, who is the Director of Public Policy for YouTube. And it's just really exciting to work with these people and to see, you know, because we always talk about the tech industry, but they're just like us, right? And so I even remember talking with Marco about, you know, ways to make YouTube safer and, you know, what can we do with that bridge between YouTube Kids, which are for really young kids, and YouTube, which is really adults, and, you know, what do we do in between? And I didn't have anything, I had no solutions, but ironically enough, just today, I saw that YouTube has come out with a new sort of system where parents can now let their children watch regular YouTube, but with different parental controls and filters and things like that. I haven't yet dug into it, but it just came out today. So I think that's really cool, you know, that they're trying. They know that children should not be on YouTube. They know that. You can see anything. And if you don't believe me, parents, just give it a try. You know, you're going onto YouTube, and as you're looking at the screen, whatever it is, even if you put, I don't know, Minecraft tutorial, right? And then on the right-hand side, you'll see all the little thumbnails, and just go all the way down to the bottom, you know, the suggested next video, press one, and then watch the next page, and then go all the way down and then press one. And really, I'm pretty sure within 3 pages, so about 30 something videos, you will probably come across some porn. And you know, this is just the way of the name of the game. There are about 500 videos uploaded every minute to YouTube, and it's just almost impossible to moderate all that content. And YouTube Kids isn't so great either, but they're working on it. That's all I can say. So here is also some of the fun stuff that I get to do by going in and talking to kids, right? You know, finding out what's happening and what are they doing. And of course, you can see this is the back of their heads because, you know, I don't show children's faces. And then I have all of the different places where you can find me for social media. So 2-year-old camera works. What? My 2-year-old camera can work on YouTube? Wait, you gotta say that one again. Okay. My 2-year-old can work YouTube. Got it. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But they should be on YouTube Kids. And even then, you know, YouTube Kids, sometimes things can crop up too. It's just that simple. So what I also think is just really cool is that, even though I'm sitting here talking informally, and I'm going to continue talking informally about some of the things that I'm doing, I just really want to stress that one of the reasons why I keep trying to do more of these, ask me anythings, is to let you, kind of peek inside my brain and see what I'm trying to do here. Because for me, with all of this experience with the tech industry, with governments, with child associations, with students, I mean, really, it's all right here. And so what I've recently done is, of course, tried to pull it all together and put it into a toolkit, right? So put it into a way where parents can just dig in, where they can go in and say, okay, I want to know something about, getting clarity, or just how do I be calm? So you just go in, you click that one, and then you get, 20 minutes of a little video that will explain exactly what you need and what you can do. Or you could have an area of concern. You're concerned about your smartphone, or we were just talking about iPads earlier. And so you can go in and click and get information about that. So this, yeah, thanks, Sarah. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing, right? And so then as well is, on this side is like looking at some of the online issues, right? There's so many things that are happening, whether it's cyber racism, cyber bullying, disabilities, and then even looking at age related. If you just wanted to go in, and Georgie just said her daughter is 2, or a 2-year-old. So you want to look at something about that age. So you go in, and then there's a video, and there's some brochures and some information. And so this is the whole idea of really trying to make a toolkit that's accessible to parents, to caregivers, to families. So that is what I wanted to show you, and then to make sure that you can find me if you have any questions, that you can find me on anything with DigiParent Coach, really literally anything and everything from TikTok to Minecraft to Pokemon Go. I have used consistently the same name. And then you can also write me emails at Elizabeth@digitalparentingcoach.com. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to just continue with some of the questions that you were asking me. And if you have anything, if you have a question, put it in the chat. I can see that there are more people coming in, as I think that Sarah was right, is that as it gets later, people probably thought it was 8 p.m. UK time. But if you have any questions, either unmute yourself or just put it in the chat. And like I said, take advantage of this smaller group to literally ask me anything. This is what I'm here for. So, and if you don't have a question, then I will keep talking, because I can do this all night long.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Yes.
This is Pauline.
Hi, Pauline.
I went to one of your seminars in my daughter's school.
Yes.
And you said my daughter is 7 years old.
Yes.
And you said something like, oh, if they're not playing this game, I think you said Roblox.
Yes.
And they should be. Because my daughter is, she doesn't have any she doesn't look at the iPad, or all she does is TV, Disney Plus,
Yeah.
and Netflix.
Yeah, but that's fantastic, Pauline. No. So listen, when this is so funny. This is not the first time that this has happened, where I've gone in and speak with children and talk about how great certain things are, because other kids are mentioning what they're playing, and I was like, oh yes, that's great, that's fun.
Right.
And then children go home and they say, but mommy, she said I can have TikTok, and it's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that first, for all the children, is that we have to respect mommy's rules. And so I hope your 7-year-old is listening, where she can remember that I always say, you talk with your parents, you find out.
She's asleep.
Oh, she's asleep.
She's asleep.
Oh, but it's okay. It's okay. We're recording this, so you can't see you, but she can see me. So okay. Remember what I said. I said that all of these games, we're going to look at the ages, and then you're going to ask your parents, and then you're going to also have them play with you, so that way they can see. Because quite frankly, Pauline, between you, I, and everybody else that'll see this video, there can be problems with Roblox too. There could be problems on Roblox, problems on Minecraft, but I don't want to demonize games or social media, because there can be problems just using Google Documents, right? Children have been cyberbullying each other on Google Documents where they're sharing it, or even with just email. So for example, Pauline, if you and I are going to talk about Georgie, sorry, Georgie, using you as an example, then I write an email and I give you, Pauline, access to the email. So I've created a Gmail account. So you and I are both entering this account as the same person. And I will write a really snarky comment about Georgie, and I'll just I'll never send the email. I'll just put it in drafts, right? And then you go in and you also write in drafts. And so that's how we can communicate back and forth, right? So, I mean, there are so many ways for our children to go around and do things that we would not like them to do. That what I'm always trying to stress is that they talk with their parents, they get permission, they show them what they're doing. That way they'll see that it's not so bad. And probably another thing that I told your 7-year-old is that if they show their parents and tell their parents how responsible they are and how, that they know what to do, that if something pops up on a screen, that they won't click it, that they will come and get you. And I said, she'll probably let you play more. And I think that's what she heard for sure. Anything else, Pauline?
Yeah, but if I don't, let's say for example in the future, I don't allow her to play these games because I'm quite strict with all these things. Do you think she's gonna feel left out?
Do I think she's gonna? No, I don't personally, because I've seen this as well, where, it's your house, it's your rules. It just depends. At 7, I don't think it's as an issue as when we get to 11, 10, 11, and 12. If she's not saying anything to you about it, if she's not feeling left out, well, then it's no big deal. And she can also not feel left out. I'm not sure. I think you said you're watching Netflix. But if you were watching anything on YouTube and you found like a couple of YouTube videos on Roblox, then you could, show her so she could at least see what it's about. And that way, there's no FOMO, no fear of missing out. She sees it. She's like, oh, okay, I see what this is. She might not even be interested. Not every child wants to play Roblox. Really, I think what it is that every child wants to kind of know what the others are talking about. So that way they have an idea. It's like, have you heard of Clubhouse right now? Everybody's talking about Clubhouse, but not everybody wants to go on Clubhouse.
No.
Oh, you haven't heard? See, people.
Oh yeah, that's the one where you have to be invited.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And
I've heard of it.
Yeah, see, you've heard of it, but you're not concerned about it. You're not worried about it. But this is it's causing the same thing in the adult world as well. But no, Pauline, I think the biggest thing that you can do to help your daughter is for you to be her digital role model. And as much fun as I can be going into a school and talking with the kids for 45 minutes, you are the one who's, talking with her every day and asking her about, what she likes, what she saw, what did they do at school? Because sometimes at the schools they're showing, they have them on screens or on tablets for whatever reasons. So that way, you're aware of what she's doing and you can just keep on guiding her. At 7, the other thing that I would be thinking about is just play dates, or pretty much just play dates, or when she's with the babysitter or someone else. If she's on screens at that time, do they know that that those are your rules? Just to make sure that you are consistent and share your rules and that everybody's doing the same thing.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. But yeah, no, Roblox, she can live without it for a little while longer.
Okay, great.
Mommy and me time is a lot more fun, for sure. Anybody else with some other questions? Because I know I had a couple that came in. What did you not know, Georgie? You can write in the chat. I don't know what thing that I said that you did not know.
It was about the kids even using Google Docs to bully.
Right. Yeah. Do you remember in when we were in high school and kids would do, I think then it was called a burn book, where you'd have that notebook and you'd write down like everybody's name, and like on each page it would say, what do you like, favorite color, favorite ice cream, that, and it was all sort of supposed to be anonymous, but all the kids would try to figure it out. Well, they kind of do the same thing, like I said, with Google Documents and others. So children will always find a way to do things, and that's why our role as digital parents is to identify, to recognize some of that, and just keep on going, keep guiding them, because it's not that different. So I know that Sarah has older children. Mine are older too. So when we sit here, and older than 7, I mean, mine are 11 and 14. But when we're talking about things like cyberbullying or even sexting, I know you guys don't want to think about these things, but I'm just trying to put it into a different context, right? So we get all worried saying, oh my goodness, my child, looked up something on Google, they were curious. And I say, okay, it's true. Google should not be parenting your child, meaning that should not be the first place of reference when your child wants to ask a question about something, right? That you prefer to be the person to answer. But it happens, and I sit there and say, think about when we were younger, and if we went to the library, or there was that other child in our class who told us about about Santa Claus, or who told us how babies were made. There's always that child, always, inevitably, and it's the same thing in the online world. There will always be that child who wants to show your child something that they saw online, something that they heard online. This is how the whole Momo challenge kept going around and around, because it was like kids saying, I was so scared, you have to see this. And they were sharing it. So, when I talk with parents, I'm always saying, keep those things in mind and think about how you reacted when you were a child, how your parents reacted, and just remember what we're talking about here. When a child is curious and looking at something online for Google, it's the same as going to the library and looking online, trying to figure it out. And that's the time where you have to, have that conversation that you perhaps don't want to talk about some of these issues. Same thing with older children. Who may start, sending messages saying, oh, I think you're cute. And I think you're really cute. I mean, this is just that sort of flirting, but now online, it becomes more, I will say, dangerous, in that, children don't realize that that once they take these pictures, even these chat messages, that they are out there and they can stay, forever. So those are the types of things where we, as parents, as digital parents, as digital guardians for our children, we can just come in and support them and let them know and tell them always, Pauline, what we expect, what our expectations are. I mean, my boys, they know what I expect them to do. If they see something online, if someone wants to show them something online, they know. The same way that they know that if we go somewhere, and when they were younger and if they got lost, I'd say go to the first pharmacy, or find another mommy, find a lady with kids and tell her, help, this is my mom's phone number, whatever. I mean, these are the types of strategies that we can use as parents proactively beforehand, before something happens. And for me, that's the whole space of digital parenting, is just being aware, is thinking of some of these issues. And so, so with Sarah, I would, challenge you to go and take a look at just Instagram in general, like what's happening with the kids, who are the best influencers for Instagrammers in the UK. And for you, Pauline, take a look at what's happening with Roblox. Although Pauline, today is probably not the day that you want to look at Roblox, because if you're in my Facebook group, the Digital Parenting Community, you would have seen I just posted today about, oh, no, I didn't post it today. I started to post it and I said, oh, I'm going to wait, but it's coming. It's in The Guardian, about an 11-year-old girl who spent, I believe, £2,000, so like 2,000 euros on Roblox. So there can be some problems with in-game spending and purchases and things like that. But again, it's a matter of talking to our children. We don't hand our children a bag full of money and then go to the candy store and not say anything, right? So you can't hand them an iPad that's loaded up with your credit card as they're playing a game, and they can't distinguish between reality, real money, upgrading, up-leveling, Candy Crush coins, etc. For them, it's just play until it's real money. And so let's see, who else? Annie, do you have any questions? Anybody else? Yeah? Yep, I can't hear you. Go ahead.
I would like to know, I've got 3 girls, and the youngest is 8, and I've got 15 and 16. But I've come to realize I had to give them phones. I was like, in the first place, is it okay to let children have phones? Because I thought it was, I'm a very strict one. I didn't want them to have phones. And with looking at what is going on, if you do things too much, you get them also, and they will easily be influenced when they get exposed to it. So this December, I tried to, because I had given them this analog, the ones with not this smartphone.
Yes, you
Then
give them
they
cell
were
phones. Yeah.
before, because they are in secondary school, I'm in the UK, but they tend to hide it because I think with their friends, when they see them having that, they tease them or they have a go at them. So they were
Yes.
shy. So just this December, I said, okay, I'll surprise them. I got them iPhones for the two of them. I was going to be, I'm using Samsung, but they said, so I said, let me just give it to them. We made rules. We agreed on what to do at a particular time. Phones have to be given and placed down. It's not going to be kept in the room or so ever. But I've noticed that eventually now they are not going by it and they are being carried away. It's a big, big problem for me. They are so much in tune to Pinterest and TikTok.
Yeah.
And my younger one, because now of the pandemic, they are mostly doing homeschooling. And I've noticed the second one is now behind time. And it's like when it's time for lessons, they'll try to use their phones to be like that will not show their face. It will be up on the ceiling. And I've just today told them they will have to get the phone. But they tell me when they are on the laptop, they cannot work out the thing. So they'll have to show the one with the camera so that they can, because it's a Chromebook. And
Right.
it's, so I just gave them. But it's so worrying to me. And I
Yeah.
don't know what to do to monitor. And they've put, I told them you have to let me have your password. There shouldn't be any password where I can monitor. And I'm not that type who knows technology that much.
Mhm.
So it's a bit overwhelming for me because they know much more than I do. And it's so overwhelming, and I'm very concerned about.
Yeah, but Annie, wait. So first you said that it's overwhelming because they know technology more than you do. But they might know technology, but you know life, right? So you know what can possibly happen. You also know that if they're on technology too much, that they get tired, they get irritable. You also know that if they're doing certain things, that they could perhaps be talking to people that you don't want them to talk to because those characters are out there. So all of those things you do know, and those are the things that you're going to use to guide them, right? You have to have confidence that you can parent them in the digital age. And so some of the things that you were saying to me, they were absolutely brilliant. So you were looking at the phones and you were trying to decide. So first you started them off with a cell phone, which is great because as soon as you give the child access to a phone that has internet, they can access everything, right? And so you start them off slow. You tell them the rules about sending messages, what time to call, not too early, not too late, how many text messages, all of those things. I mean, that's common sense, Annie, and I'm sure you did that, and that's not technology, right?
Mhm.
And then, wonderful mommy that you are, you spoiled those kids and got them some smartphones, which is just lovely. But when you give them the smartphones, give them your rules.
Yeah.
Give them as well. And you don't have to make it like a contract or a big agreement. You can just say, listen, I want to help you be connected. I want you to be digital citizens. I want you to use technology responsibly and safely. And you can do this. I trust you with this phone. This is what I was telling Sarah, is that you can tell your child, I trust you. I know that you're going to do the right thing, but I'm also a little worried about the other people that are out there. So that's why we have to have periodic check-ins. That's
Mhm.
why you have to, show me what's happening on TikTok. Show
Yeah.
me what you're looking at on Pinterest. Let me see your top pins. I want to see,
Mhm.
and just say, it's not because I don't trust you. You can say, I'm not a tech mom. I just want to
Mhm.
know, and keep those conversations going, Annie. One of the things that I have realized, I've been doing this now, gosh, almost 12 years, 10 years doing this and other things. I started in 2012. And one of the things that I've realized is that it's not the idea now, when we're talking digital parenting, when you all get off the phone and when people stop listening, watching this recording, it is not for you to say, okay, I did it. It's a one-off. I understand it all. No, and it's the same thing when you're talking with your children. It's not, oh, today, just the one thing. It is not one long conversation for 100 minutes. It is 100 little 1-minute conversations. Hey, so what did you do on TikTok today? Oh, how's YouTube today? Oh, did you see anything sketchy today? Oh, well, what did you do? What about your friends? You know, are people being kind online? And just not as not that you're interrogating them, but that you're just asking, and that you're always letting them know again and again, Annie, that if anything happens, you will be there to support them. You've got them, and they need to come to you and not try to figure it out themselves. I know a lot of kids think that they can handle this, or that because they've seen so much online that they actually believe that they can. But let them know that you're really, really there for them, and just kind of make it like a fresh start. Just say, you know, I know that we're in this pandemic, so let's take advantage, you know, show me what you're doing, so that way I can enter your world and see. And then you can say, before that, I wasn't so much technology. I don't want you on it. And I still don't want you on it that much, but show me what you're doing so I can appreciate it. Keep the conversations going, Annie. Everything that you've said so far sounds great. It really does.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're quite welcome. And were there any other questions? Oh, a question, the appropriate age to give a child a phone. I love this. Okay, so, oh, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I see you have 2 comments. I'm going to come back to them in a second. So this is a great question, and I get this all the time. So what is the appropriate age to give a child a phone? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
I know you want me to say 10, 12, 13, and you know what I'm going to say. It depends. I know, no, I'm not cheating, but it truly does depend. It depends on the maturity of your child, the maturity and the experience. Can your child, and let's say, for example, I did not give my children phones until they were 11. And even then I gave them, you can probably see behind me right over there, they're like these horrible little phones that you could, yeah, they were they weren't so popular in school, but it was okay because they were able to say, yeah, but my mom is that weird internet safety lady, so they had an excuse, so it was okay. But it's really true that the first thing that you think about when you decide about giving them a smartphone is, you know, what's their age and maturity? What do they need the phone for? Like I said, there isn't a simple answer, but if I did say anything as a simple answer, I would say wait as long as you can before you do, right? So as long as they're not asking for it, don't worry about it. And only because once they have it, it does open up the world. It gives them a lot of freedom, which is great for you to be able to check in with them, to know where they're going, to, you know, see if they need a ride home or to find you or to walk home, whatever. But I would wait for later. And then when you do give them one, try to give them a cell phone first. And always, always with any technology, with any device, always try to give them your agreement, a family media agreement, which again is just your expectations. And you have to say it this way. Listen up. You say, mommy knows. I really think that it's a cool what you want to do, but you have to do it my way. Let's do our rules. Let's decide together what we're going to do and talk with them about it. You will be surprised if you ask your child, okay, so how many, if you have a phone, let's say we're talking about a 12-year-old, you have your phone, how many messages do you think you can send a day? How many, you know, how late should you be able to text your friends? You can ask them. Of course, you're setting them up because we all know you're going to say we want it to be, you know, as little as possible, but get those conversations going. And I do think that whatever age, again, that you give them a phone, is that you continue those conversations about asking them, you know, who are they talking with? What's happening? How are things working with their phones? Do the other kids have phones? You know, and even if they start texting, my goodness, this is the time when we can really show them internet etiquette, right? So do you remember when our parents they would hand you a pen and they would say, now what do you say? And then everyone would say, thank you. It's the same thing when there's some text messages. You have to teach them to say thank you, or even just THX or whatever. So it's all of these types of things. And the only way you can do that is by being an involved digital parent. It's always the same answer. So I'm going back up because Sarah wrote something really interesting. It says, my kids' friends have shared images that would have destroyed kids before. Yeah. Nowadays, they laugh and they say there's this perception that they're in control. Like you say, they will stay forever and have no control where they were going. Yeah, the images. It's really true, Sarah. And another thing that I've seen is the fact that so many children are doing this, and I won't say raising themselves online, but to a certain extent, they are raising themselves online because they're the ones who are, picking the channels, downloading the apps. They have really no concept of this. And so it becomes something that they're used to. And so they don't think about it. So for example, if they're playing, and I have seen these cases where I had a 6-year-old playing Call of Duty. Call of Duty is a game for 18-year-olds, right? And so when you start seeing that, and then the 6-year-old becomes desensitized to violence because they're seeing it all the time. And no, I am not saying that online video games cause kids to be aggressive and turn out to be shooters. I'm not saying that. They're doing research, they're looking, etc. What we do know is that children get very excited and agitated after watching some of these games, but they get used to it and they say, oh, whatever. Literally, I had the 6-year-old that I'm talking about. He said, and I quote, I was playing Call of Duty and I got more points for killing a prostitute in the backseat of a car. He had no idea what he was talking about, what these words really meant or the context, but it was just the game, and he got more points, literally. So, I mean, these are the types of things where I do worry and say, okay, we've got to pull things back because some of these kids have seen things that they can't unsee. And that's a challenge that I ask everybody, that I will suggest to all of you, no matter what age, 2 years old, 5 years old, 7 years old, 14, just ask them, and ask them in a really gentle way. Has there ever been anything that you saw online that made you feel icky, that made your stomach go, ooh? Just ask them that way. You don't have to say, did you see this or did you see that? Because I never do that when I speak to the kids. I always just say, oh, did you see anything where you just said, ugh? And then they tell you, they will tell you. And then you say, well, what did you do? And how can we make you feel better? And what can you do the next time something like that, like you think you're going to see something? And these are the ways that we're helping them by being proactive, giving them strategies. Yes, Sarah. So the 100 questions, it's a great way to look at things. And I wish I could say it was mine, but it's not. It was Dr. Michael Rich, who is the Ask the Mediatrician. He's at the Boston Center for Children and Media's Health. I was on a call with him and during a big conference, actually that same one that you saw with the Family Online Safety Institute. And he was the one who coined that phrase, and I absolutely loved it. So now, Deborah, I'm going to answer your question. And then Sarah, remind me one more thing before I stop recording. It's because you like the 100 questions. Remind me to tell you about the envelope. So Deborah, you say, do you have a prescribed amount of screen time depending on age? Oh, Deborah. You want the easy answer, don't you? You want the good one. You want me to say, okay, from 0 to 2, this. Go ahead, tell me. What are you thinking?
Well, actually, I'm a technology specialist.
Yeah.
For my lower school.
Yes.
This is a question that's very common that parents ask me. So
great.
I'm passing it on to you, Elizabeth.
Great. I love it. I'm happy to answer that. Okay, good. Because that's even a better question and a better way for you to answer from now on. So there is no, we don't talk about screen time like that anymore. So child online protection experts, we now talk about quality screens. Like, what are they watching? We don't measure screen time in terms of quantity, how long they're online, but what are they watching online? And this is definitely true in the pandemic. Because our children are doing remote learning, and you cannot say that 4 hours today in front of screens is the same as 4 hours a year ago when they were playing just Fortnite for 4 hours or watching YouTube for 4 hours. Now now they can be doing 1 hour of math, 1 hour of some sort of interactive geography lesson. So that's number one. Number two, I would say, and this one, actually, Deborah, I'm going to put it in the chat for you. This is from England. Are you in England or the States or Canada?
I'm in the States. I'm in Oregon.
Oh, you're in Oregon. Okay. This is great. This is from it's called Family Screens Policy. And this is something with the London School of Economics, but it's absolutely brilliant. And I'm just going to put it in the chat so that way you'll have it. Because this was something that I worked on. This is in 2016. I'm going to just explain a little bit behind it. Is that, here you go, is that The American Pediatric Association, AAP, American Association of Pediatrics, American Academy of Pediatrics, they came out right with the screen time limits, right? Those famous limits that everybody heard about. So it was the 0 to 2, nothing, from 2 to 5, 1 hour a week or whatever. And then it got revised, and it was revised probably about 2014 or 15, I believe. And so in 2016 at the London School of Economics, Sonia Livingston and this huge EU Kids Online invited a lot of child online protection experts to talk about this and to figure out what is screen time guidance that we can give parents. What can we actually tell them? So here is the answer, Deborah, that you will also see in the link that I gave you, is that it's not so much screen time, but it is looking at how your child is reacting to screen time. So it is checking basically 5 things. Is your child eating well? Is your child sleeping well? Is your child doing well in school? Is your child reacting well with you and the family members? And is your child reacting well with their devices? If all of that is fine, then we're not even really, there's not a problem with how much screen time they have. But all of those things have to be fine, because a lot of parents always think, screen addiction, no problem, screen addiction or some other issue. And no. It's just because your child doesn't come when you call them for dinner does not mean they're addicted. It just means they're not coming when you call them for dinner because they are so excited by what they're watching. Okay, so Sarah, you're still on the line. Yeah, perfect. So I just want to tell you one last thing before I round this up. And Deborah, are you in the digital parenting community on Facebook? I hope so. Yeah, because if you are, please just always ask any of those questions in the community, because we love to hear from educators, from psychologists, teachers. We'd love to hear these types of questions so we can answer them. So Sarah, my last tip for you, again, I'm sharing something that I just heard that is brilliant. So I did a conference last week, actually a conference, it was an actual workshop with young children and their parents. And I did it in French, me speaking in French to the children in Lisbon, in Portugal. Oops, my phone, just my Star Trek. You guys can tell that I'm like a real Trekkie, real geek. I was speaking in French and to the children in Portugal. And then afterwards I spoke with their parents in English. And with me was somebody who's also in the digital parenting Facebook community. His name is Tito de Moraes. He also goes by the name Internet Safety Guy. He's been doing this for years, 20 years, 30 years. Tito gave this idea, Sarah. So another thing that you guys are all going to do, because if you have older children, and actually, Annie, I think you can get away with it with Pauline has a 7-year-old. You can get away with the 7-year-old, and Annie,
Hello.
you can definitely do it.
Hi, thank you for waiting.
Because of your children
Okay.
too. Oh, let me put you on mute. You can also do it too with your children. And that is something, it's called the envelope, okay? So what you're gonna do with this envelope is you are going to get like a nice little bright colored envelope, okay, whatever, and here, I'll just do like this with the blue. And you're gonna put this envelope and you're going to give it to your child and put it by their nightstand or in their room, wherever. And so that way your child, your teen, they know that if and when they ever need to tell you about a digital drama, and these are my words, not his, about a digital drama or something that happened online, that they can write it down, they can put it in this envelope, they can leave it by the bed, and you will get it. And you, by giving them this little colored envelope, you are promising to yourself that once you open up this envelope and you see what they've written, that you do not say, holy ah, that you just sit there and say, okay, wait, I promised them that I would be there for them. I will support them. So let me just take a deep breath. I won't even talk to them about it right now. I'll come back and deal with it. I'll call Elizabeth. I don't know what you're going to do, but that you're just going to take a step back, and then you help them deal with it, because they will trust you by putting that word, that note in the envelope for you. So I too love that, Sarah. And I just think I'm going to start sharing that one all the time. And like I said, I'm calling it my digital dramas diffused or something like that, because I like D's. I like alliteration. So everyone, thank you so, so much. Even though we started off kind of slow, we really pulled in there. Sarah, thank you so much for staying with me from starting from beginning to end. I'm always as good as the people who are there. And thank you, Pauline. If you have any questions, you ask in the digital parenting community. And Pauline, really, I would never tell a child something against their parents' wishes. Never, never, never. They may think that I'm saying that, but no, no, no. So you could tell her no Roblox. You can tell her no computers until later when you think that it's okay, because eventually you will find that it's okay, because you will know how to guide her to use all of those things responsibly and safely. So with that in mind, thank you, Annie. I'm glad. And so I just also, I believe you already all saw the toolkit that I had mentioned. So if you like all of the things that I'm saying and the way that I'm saying it, please, you'll see some more emails coming that will explain to you what's inside the toolkit and how you can best use it for your families and how you can use it again and again and again. So that's it, everyone. Have an awesome evening and stay in touch, okay? Bye-bye.